Hey, 404, howdy. Oh, I went to the wrong YouTube link. Damn it. Ah, never mind. Mr. Man, hey, hey. Never you mind. I loaded up the wrong YouTube, but it's okay. I am gathering some material right now while we are waiting for the Folkerinos to arrive. And then we will kick off in earnest. How's everyone going? How is everybody going, and how is chess treating us these days? Also, how much does Twitter Premium cost? Does anyone know that? Because I wanted to stream on Twitter too, and it turned out that I can't unless I've got Premium. Daylight robbery. Also, where is everyone? $8 per month, and what do I get apart from the right to stream live on X? What else is there in the package? Does anyone know that? $8. That's not a lot. I thought it was actually dearer. Well, the checkmark is freaking pathetic, really. Can't care less about Grok. What is ad revenue? Wait, what? Are you telling me I'm getting money if I perform well? Hello, S34, how are you going? What's the plan for the stream? Well, apparently I didn't title either of the streams correctly. So, I was gonna run a... Alapin masterclass. Or Alapin lecture. Rather. Yeah, that's the agenda. Good! Welcome in, brother! I did this for you, my friend, so I hope you are going to like it. Unfortunately, I mistitled YouTube. But Alapin masterclass incoming, my friend. And the first game is already up, so we are going to begin. It is a delayed Alapin, which is not something that I recommend in general for various reasons. But we look upon it now as a move order story. D4 is the other big move here. But bishop c4 is also completely fine. Note that this is typically just a developing move, and we do not intend to take on d5. Shirogorov, welcome in. They give you a small amount based on how many premium accounts interact, apparently. I'll have to ask ChatGPT about this. But I'm guessing that I would make about $5 a month. Anyway, let's move on. D6, D4. Tuck, tuck, knight C6, castles. Bishop E7. And here comes a very important move that, on a conceptual level, is important that we remember. So in this position, what you want to do is to have your queen on G4. But how do we get there? Tack, tack, talk, talk. I don't know what it means, buddy, but I appreciate you being weird. So we want to go here. How do we do that? Exactly, queen e2, and then queen e4, and then queen g4. It also conveniently steps out of the d file, so no queen trades, and the rook can jump onto the d if need be. Nice. Nice, contradicting me right away. Rook e1 is a weird move. Rook d1 is mainline theory here. But I will let this slide. Gauzy. Hey, hey, hey. And knight c3. This is an important idea that you should remember. That black has got one decent piece on the entire board, which is the d5 knight. And so trading that knight, even at the cost of creating a isolated pawn, is fine. Because what we have now is a lot of freedom, a lot of attacking potential. And so we rather have that than worry about a weak isolated pawn. Checkmate wins the game, not winning a pawn. Remember that. Checkmate wins the game. Yes, indeed, Gauzy. Knight a5. Bishop back to d3, of course. Now we are threatening queen e4. So I suspect bishop c6 is forced. Yep. But now the knight on a5 is a bit of a bozo. 94. That's a very, very cool way to land on g4. Bishop d5. Queen g4. Rook e8. Bishop h6. The whole position just plays itself. It is so fluid, so easy to play for white, which is a big reason why I am a big fan of developing on lower club levels to learn these attacking patterns and to appreciate the value of freedom, piece mobility, and lead in development, I suppose. All right, let's play it from here on out together. So, white to move. How do we proceed? White. Definitely white, bless. Mohammed Ahmed. Eid Mubarak to you, sir, first of all. Second of all, no, I cannot. Because as you can see, I'm busily engaged in a lecture. Sonny Coedit, welcome in. Bishop e4 to develop the rook. The rook is developed. If you want to deploy that rook, it needs to go on a different way. And you definitely do not want to trade this bishop because it is an incredibly potent attacker. Press says f4, rook e3. I don't understand why we need f4 if we want to play rook e3. I don't understand f4. F4, F5, I just take it, no? Yeah, I don't get F4. H4 is very good. But what if they take? Did we blunder? I don't know why the analysis is on. I hate it. What's going on here, guys? Yeah, you take back with the knight, but then you don't have a threat. That's the problem, Gozi. If you take back with the bishop, yeah. It's manageable. I suppose it is manageable, but I'm not a fan of this move. Like, I go back to c6. Yeah, nah. It just doesn't add up. This move does not fit the bill at all. H4 does. But here you need to be a very sharp tactician to appreciate how good this position is and go for a kill with c4. The point of this move is that after take, what do we have here to mop up immediately? Knight f5 is hanging for free. I wouldn't do that. Knight f3, of course, because that's a double attack. Double attack, my friends. No question. Knight f3, game over. Knight e6 is, again, just rook e6 and black is probably better, yeah? So, nah. Knight f3 wins the piece. Tuk tuk. So, after c4, they can't take. They have to go back to c6. And now we need to continue very forceful chess. Now, the purpose of h4 was to play h5. And the tactical justification is that this queen is very awkwardly glued to this bishop. This line that we are about to look at now, which is very difficult, is going to be proving that thesis. So what is white's best here and why? And this is, all of this needed to be seen before they played h4, which they didn't do, by the way, because it was an incredibly deep idea, but I love it. This is all about attack and initiative. What do I think about the birds opening? I love it then every time I get these questions. I really don't know what value my answer represents to you. But to answer your question, I think that it falls into the category of meh. And then I was very polite. I love these guys. Yo, bro, just got your stream. Can't stay so long, so I dropped the follow. No, you didn't. I want to support your journey. Please do. PayPal link is available. I can connect you with a big Twitch streamer who pulls thousands of viewers, has about 3 million followers, and makes serious bank. Lovely. He helps streamers grow with real viewers, active chatters, and loyal fans who donate, gift, and sub contests. Bring them all. If you are serious about growth, add him on Discord. Yeah. No. Nope. You are unfortunately full of shh. But thanks for passing by. And once again, if you want to make me rich, you know where to donate. Rook a d1, guys. Bring all the boys to the party is rule number 1. So this should have been our first candidate. I tell you how good players approach this position. If they look at this position, they don't start looking for crazy stuff. They first look at the most natural move, and they try to see if that has some extra spice to it, given the circumstances on the board. So they look at Rook d1 because that is the most natural, most obvious move that a 700 rated player should think of first. And then we realize that actually it's a threat. Against the non-move, we have got knight takes, bishop takes, g6, and the game is over. So it turns out that not only is it the most obvious move by 700 standards, but it's the most obvious move by any standards, in fact, because it's deadly. If I step out of the discovery radar, then all of a sudden this bishop's diagonal has been too much shortened. I don't know, oh my Kozart. It's a process. Like, you learn openings reasonably early. It's just the depth of how much and how deeply you learn them is what changes as you get better. But opening principles should be learned very early on, very thoroughly. Most people do a very poor job of that. Both teaching and learning it. And the reason for that is because it's very difficult to do a good job of it, because it's not easy. So after Rook a d1, black is in struggle city, big time. So, but h4 wasn't played. Instead, we played in the game Rook e3, which is second best. Yeah, ish. But h4 was so much better that we really should have done it. Actually, sorry, they played bishop f8, not g6. And now, of course, Rook e3 was played. The engine wants knight b5, knight d6 ideas, which is also very, very logical, because the d6 square is no longer guarded since the bishop has to mind the mate. Well, Kozart, yes, of course, because opinions on chess is a bit like people's rear end, that everyone has one. but no one really cares about the others. So, yeah. I'm curious to know what rating you are, what your goals are. Like, it has got so many unknown quantities, it's almost impossible to answer without knowing the person very well. Okay, f5 played. This was an overextension. The question is, what do we play after g6? And the good news is that there are no wrong answers. $17.50. Yeah, that is a good time to actually engage with some opening theory. That is a good time to engage with opening theory. Yeah, I don't like rook h3 here at all, because unfortunately what that does is that it creates the wrong order as far as queen and rook are concerned. You want the queen in the front and the rook behind, not the other way around, right? And for exactly that reason, you should be playing here queen f4, preparing your queen to retake on h6, and then set up the mate threat on h7. Trade on f8 followed by chucking the knight on b5, d6 is also sensible, I suppose. Can do. Yep. And yeah, that's about it. But definitely not rook h3 first. That is no go. Anyway, they played f5, which looks absolutely horrid. What is our correct reaction? No, queen g5 is really bad because that offers a queen trade, my friend. And that we don't do. So what now, folks? En passant or sac on f5? What are we doing? I like it how people can't keep it in their pants and they want to go nuts all the time. I mean, quite frankly, you have got absolutely zero reason to not to take it en passant, right? It opens up this diagonal. It splits the black pawns. It exposes the king to another attacking move. It opens up the position in the section of the board where you want to play. If you don't do this, what are you doing? Like, it's a total no-brainer. Literally no candidates other than takes. Maybe bishop f5 you can look at, but it's pretty obvious that it's just not going to cut it, because after knight takes f5 you have got myriads of ways to defend g7. Even bishop e6 I think is quite nasty, with the idea of bishop takes, and your queen hangs and we can resign. So yeah, like, if you're not taking this, what are you even doing? No question. Okay, take back. How do we proceed? Bishop g5, says everyone. Queen f7. And this is maybe the hardest move of the game that comes now, I would say. And before you even start looking and screaming bishop takes h7, I'm telling you that that's not it. And as soon as I said that, already the bishop h7 champions are coming in. Nah, it's not good enough. You take, I take, you check, I go here, you go here, I go here, and you've got nothing. You have one check and then resignation. Forget it. Knight f3 it is. A very, very fine positional move with the idea to relocate the knight from d4 to e5. After which, the previously mentioned sacrifices are going to be immediately decisive. So for argument's sake, let me show this to you. Now you go check, now you go check, and now you go rook h3, and you lose the chess game because I just blundered my knight. Oops. So even here it's not that obvious. Maybe just bishop f4 and then rook across. The engine says I suck at this game, so let's go knight g6. Yeah, anyway. After knight e5, we're killing it. That's for sure. They played bishop c5. I suppose the idea might have been to vacate the f8 square. I don't know. Let's see. Knight e5? Nope, it wasn't. Queen c7. Oh yeah, well the idea was to try to glue the rook to the defense of the knight. So, are we going here or are we not going here? I need at least 3 moves. Like proper lines. So try to look a bit more deeply. Beautiful attacking position. I'll give you a hint. It does work, but we need to figure out the hows. El King David. How are you going, man? Name. Bless you, you just blundered the knight exactly the same way how I did earlier, so I do not recommend to do that. After bishop takes, queen h5, king g8, you do not have rook h3 on account of queen takes here. Thank you, Elking. Thank you, thank you. So after takes, we need to pick the correct check first, whether it's this or this. And which is the correct check is based on the follow-up plan. Abyss, you are onto something, my friend. You are onto something, indeed. Very good. Or I could even say, very good. Good evening, Tanner. So the idea is indeed bishop f6. The beauty of the move is that you can already play it here. But it's better to go check first. And then this is the key move. The idea being that now queen h5 mate is on because the knight is protected. And it appears to be completely unstoppable. My good friend Cody would remember, because I gave him a lot of grief on the last occasion when we had a stream where he tried to pull off an attack that never existed, that I told him that, buddy, you need piece majority in the area where you are attacking, and you need a weak king. He had neither. Here we have both. We have got 4 attackers against a sole defender. That's it. None of these pieces are defenders. 2, the black king is really, really hurting, missing 2 pawns. And so now in is just decisive. So the game continued as follows. GM didn't take h7. Wow. But to be fair, this move is completely winning too. Okay, so what's the win here against queen e5, ladies? Impress me. How do we win this? Hello, Brazy. And welcome in. Jesus died for you guys. Appreciate you, man. Come on, come on. We've got this, guys. White to move and be a rock star. We've got a more or less false mate here. Start with bishop f4. It's a lot easier than that. Pawn f4 is my favorite recommendation so far because that's illegal. Derek, you want to sack the rook? How? We can't even sack that damn rook. Check, folks. Checks. How many times have you heard in your life checks, captures, threats? If you are looking for a knockout win, why are we not looking at checks first? These are such inexcusable mistakes because you know the rule and we still don't follow it, right? And now this is force mate, like a kindergarten puzzle rush mate. It's about 600 rating level mate pattern. And the harder one, somewhat harder, is king f8, when you just play bishop g6 and the same mate is threatened, and they are utterly helpless against it. That's it. Okay, so they played h6, which is essentially I resign, you win. Rook takes h6. What happens now if they take back? I wonder who is going to find this first. Who is gonna answer this first? I need full lines. I need full lines or nothing. Do not even bother typing in single moves. Well done, tactics. It's a kindergarten made in 2. Check and mate. Yep. That's it. When you've got made in 2, nothing else matters. Made in 2 is made in 2. Made in DOS. Yeah. Alright, so they didn't take the rook. They took on e5. And the final assault is about to happen. One nifty move and the game is over. Bishop f6. Very well done. Hitting queen, hitting mate, and after queen c7, can someone humor me with a quick checkmate? Plus the same pattern doesn't work because there is no bishop on g6 to cover the f7 square. Wait, what? No, because now I have to check, I just go here, right? And when you pull the bishop back, I can take the rook. So, no. Yeah, let me show you this. So here, I just take this. Once again, the check wins the house. Check, check, check. Here is mate. Here, check, and mate. Easy peasy. Checks all the way, friends. Checks all the way. All right, next, we are going to go on to an online legend, an online warrior, Zhigalko Sergey, for game number 2. Are we ready? Let's go. Again, delayed Alapin. Same line. Wait, this is the same game. No, it's not. This guy plays rook e1 as well. That's weird. I really don't get it. It's almost always rook d1. Black plays e5 against the Alpine? No. No, for two reasons. A, because it's pretty rarely played, and B, because it's a pretty ordinary move. So let's move on. Knight c3, tuck, 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 and queen c7. Alright, let's start playing from here now. White to move, how do we proceed? h4 is a popular move, apparently. Bishop d3 is not threatening the Greek gift, my friend, because when you play knight g5, it gets captured. So, that's not on. Queen e4 is my favorite move, repeating the same pattern as before. And indeed, it was played in the game. But I would like to note that bishop d3 followed by queen e4 is also good. Bishop f4 is a textbook case of a move that moves a piece but doesn't develop it. Because the bishop doesn't do anything on f4 this way. And obviously, looking that way, it also does that from c1. Additionally, though, you cut off your queen's path to g4, which we already discussed. So, definitely not bishop f4. Queen e4. Now we are threatening bishop d3 and queen g4. Rook d8. And interestingly enough, what is losing a tempo, Gozi? Oh, you mean bishop f4 is, yes. Yeah, bishop f4 would, yeah. So now they didn't play bishop d3. And they also didn't play queen g4. They played something else, which happens to be the best move. And before you call it, it's not h4. So the g5 square is correct, but which piece should go there? If you don't know why, that means it's a bad move. So as soon as you go like, I want to play X move, but I don't know why, that means that you are going to... Well, I should rather say you are going to end in trouble, because even if you play the correct move, if you don't know why that's correct, it means you are going to misplay it. What is the best way to study Morphy? To play through Paul Morphy games with a chessboard and a book. Bishop g5 does not help you to set up knight g5. It disallows you to put a knight on g5, right? If you want to play knight g5, you need to play knight g5. Yeah, but we're not playing checkers, my friend. Who said that they were going to take this? You are playing hope chess. Bishop g5, I'm just gonna ignore you and go back here or play h6. I'm not taking. No, it makes absolutely no sense to play bishop g5 if you want to play knight g5. If you want to play knight g5, play knight g5. That's how good chess is played. Yes, Patsa, it's a good book. Just play knight g5, man. That's what you wanted to do. Do it. And now after bishop takes, your bishop retake is a tempo. We have got the bishop pair. And now bishop f6, queen g4 ideas will come to the fore. Because there is very, very little defenders around the king. This is a textbook case of the amateur's mind of trying to make everything perfectly clean and overcook it. Like, oh, what, we need to trade the bishop and then I can play knight g5. No. It's time to go now, and you need to go. Jazz, I don't know how much time I will have left, but maybe. Maybe, but it's a very weak maybe because I've got some material prepared and also limited time. Do you have a banger? Or do you have a piece of sad news? So, what do we do after g6, ladies? Of course, queen h4 every day of the week. You need to strike the iron while it's hot and it's made. Why do you need to close your eye for queen h4 bless? Like, mating one thread. I don't know why I would want to close my eyes to do that. And black's only legal move is h5, which further weakens the king side. This is when you actually want your eyes wide open. Stuff the closed eyes. Wide open. Yeah, you get it. Four's made. Four's made is the word. Okay, what do we do now? Queen f4, very good. Keep on poking, keep on hitting them, keep on threatening. That's how chess is played when it's played well. It helps if you do full press games that are matching your repertoire, but it's not necessarily a requirement. Okay, now our attack has come to a bit of a halt, temporarily. They played here a move that I think most of us would not be very excited about, but it does make a lot of sense. And that move was bishop b3. The point of this move is that it kind of releases the queen from the duty of having to babysit the bishop on c4. And actually, that's about it. Having said that, I think I would have preferred to come back to d3 because I find this diagonal more likely to be meaningful for us to attack along than putting it back to b3. Yeah, I'm not quite sure about this. This I feel like it's a bit meh. Yeah, well, readout to e4 would be optimal, but unfortunately it hangs e5, so we can't do that. The engine's favorite move in this position is queen g3. The game continuation was knight f3. Now, I do like this move. The knight on g5 is now almost an obstacle for our attack. Now, queen h6 and then knight g5 looks super nasty. g4? I wouldn't do it, man. It just doesn't seem to cut it. I have h4, but maybe I can even take it and then king g7, rook h8. And that actually makes the defense easier. The fact that I can involve the rook here on the h file. So no, g4 is not on. I like knight f3. I hate going back, but when it's really well justified, I'm game. I mean, if you think about it, the only legal move to stop this mate pattern to come is rook e8, which again abandons f7. So now if you are playing Carlsen and you happen to have a yearly subscription to the Chicken Chess Club, you can just play knight g5 and give him a stare like, ha, draw. But no, of course, that's not what we do. Oh, that's what they did. Okay, never you mind. Bishop G, sorry, Queen G3 rather is the engine record. I have no idea what he wanted to do in case of Rook F8. Oh, he pulled back. Okay. He pulled back. And now we are going to play our best friend's move. Super Italy, Bishop F4. But now there is a very good reason why we do it. Who can explain to me the meaning of Bishop F4? Exactly. So now we are looking to read out to e4 and then jump into f6 or d6, whichever is more hurtful. Very good. Bishop c8, h4. Why is it not 94 right away? Oh! I know why. That's very clever. Can someone tell me what's wrong with 94 here? Exactly. Black has h4 and then we drop e5 potentially. And all of a sudden it's fugly. So h4, just one final adjustment before we go in for the kill with 94, knight f6. Yes, it is very clever. Hello, Mr. Landau. Very clever. Queen a5 played. Bishop c2 played. Why are we doing this? Sunny Porch 23 is coming in with the vicious idea of knight f7 and then absolute carnage. Well spoken, young fella. Well spoken. So they played rook g8 to meet the threat. So now knight f7, king f7, and g6 is protected. When you have to play a move like this to stay alive, that's a telltale sign that your position is absolute red hot garbage, and it's time to ask yourself, how on earth did I get myself into this royal mess? But the onus is on us now again to prove that we have what it takes to win. Do it. What do we do? Tactics, you are a legend. So they refrained from the knight e4 and then jumping plans for the time being, although it is absolutely correct. And they played rook e3 with the idea of rook f3 and hurting f7. Bishop d7. And now they backed off on it and they played knight e4. So the point of bishop d7 was that in case we go after f7, they can defend it. And so now we go knight e4. And now I'm curious how you would play the end of this. There are many ways to victory here, so you can't really go wrong, but I'm very curious how you would play it. Knight e6 or bishop g5? Bishop g5 is the strongest move according to the engine. Chess Optics, hey. But our friend just went in for the kill with knight f6. Now, when you ask me what sort of kill is that, I don't exactly know, because we don't really have a threat per se. Yeah, I think I prefer bishop g5. I think I prefer bishop g5. Trade the dark squared bishop and then get access to all kinds of hurtful squares. Because knight f6 is basically a positional paralysis, where now we don't have any tactical threats, but black can't move. Not unless they do this, which, as you will see, is not recommended. Yeah, I like bishop g2, bishop g5 as well. What is White's best move here? Full lines, please. Full lines. My problem with rook e5 is that I don't really think you are threatening with anything other than taking my queen. Because then if I don't take, then your check goes back. Yeah, I don't know. I think this is way overcooking it. It's a pretty move that doesn't do enough, I'm afraid. You got a double exclaim though. Please do not put a H in my name, since there is none. Mr. Shirogorov, thank you. It's a very sexy move. I will show that chat the idea because the idea is brilliant. The idea was to give a check, and then a check, and then come in here for mate. But mate in 2 instead is a little bit prettier, so let's go with that. Sexy up. They played bishop c7, which looks like a bozo move because it's trying to win an exchange. But that's not what it is. After b6, carnage. Carnage is in. How do we carnage it? Correct, well done, Viral. Rook check, king buggers off, doesn't matter where it goes, and rook f7. Check. And black resigned its fourth mate in 13 moves. So this is easy. That's made in very few. King f8 is the harder one. Check, check. And I would stop calculating just about here. Take, rook hanging, bishop, yeah, everything is hanging. But bishop e7 is actually the better one because that's a mate threat. One that is not so easy to stop. Okay, the next one is going to be quite different. Actually, it's a move order thing too, because we're going to see here a Karo-Khan-Panov that transposes into a Lapino vice versa. So it starts off with this, but now it's essentially a C3 Sicilian. And he white played a very weird move that would have never occurred to me. Not once. In this position, I would play bishop c4 every day of the week. You don't like this move over. You mean this move order? I don't understand what you mean, Jazz. Like, you don't like this move order for what purpose? Or for which color? Or what is going on? Can you elaborate on what you're trying to say? Why is that? No, knight b5, you just go home and then you can kick it out. Yeah, they don't understand what you're talking about, El King. Because bishop c4 has nothing to do about the pawns, it's about supporting the d5 square. That being said, these two moves are objectively the same value. But that's just airy-fairy nonsense. Anyway, what they did here was bishop b5 check. Bishop d7, and they castled. Obviously taking is horrid because that helps black to develop, and we are trading into black developing correctly. But castles is quite nifty because now trade brings the knight in, and that can create some nasty threats. And in fact here, black needs to be very, very careful. They play queen d7, and it invites a bit of trouble. I never said it was bad, but I did say that I would never play it. It's suboptimal, but it's not bad. It's definitely suboptimal, and it's definitely not bad. But now, after queen d7, what do we do, ladies? Okay, so everyone should learn this motif now, that bishop f4 is always a mistake in these positions. Notwithstanding the fact that the knight is hanging, so it's a blunder. But even if the knight was guarded, knight d5 defends the check and hits the bishop. So, fat no, but it also blunders the bishop, the knight. Queen a4 is the correct move, because now we are threatening knight c7 check, since the queen is pinned. And the reason why this is a very annoying move is because if you choose to cover the c7 square, then white has an immediate win here. This is a very handy motif to keep in mind in quite a fair number of Alapin Sicilians. Yeah, 95. Forces the queen off of the diagonal, and wherever the queen goes, we're going to have a discovered check with brutal consequences. Game over. So black played knight c6 instead. What do we do now? What do we do now? The short answer, vital, is no. Bishop f4 is the same mistake that as it was before, Mr. L. King. That you are forcing black to play the best move with the tempo. Instead of queen a4, queen b3. I don't understand. So, wait. Okay, so I go knight c6. Yeah, I don't get what you're trying to do. I find this almost counterintuitive. Yeah, I just go knight c6. Yeah, I prefer queen a4. Like, why wouldn't you create a threat if you can, instead of not? Like, that doesn't make sense. So yeah, knight c6 played, knight e5 played. But now take knight d5, defense c7 again. Nah, not without the bishop. Obviously not. So that's not the right plan to go for if you don't have that bishop. I love rook d1 here. I think it is best move. They played bishop e3. And to my mind, this is a horrid, absolutely horrid mistake on account of a6. which shockingly wasn't played. So I would say rook d1, and now a6 is going to lose to 97 check. And everything is pinned. That is an absolutely fabulous demonstration of the development advantage and king stuck in the middle being punished. That is just chef's kiss stuff. All this being said, after rook d1, if they play rook c8, white has got minimal advantage. A6 is threatening a little bit of queen takes b5, unless I'm mistaken, sweet blues. So yes, it's not to be misunderstood. But in the game we played the ugly bishop e3. Oh no, we didn't. Wait, I'm an idiot. No, we did play rook d1. Z-Slayer, welcome in. Sorry, my bad. Never mind. And the opponent played queen c6. And now the game is over. Now the game is over. But we need to still play two very strong moves back to back. What is our move here? If you want to take on d5, you need to give me a line that proves it correct. Yeah, right. Unfortunately, I botched the game because, yes, it is bishop e3. You are reading me like a book. Touché. That's exactly what's happening here. So the problem with rook d5, folks, is that it's really bad. And the reason why it's really bad is because it's really not good. So you go check, king d7, now the queens have to come off, which is already a hot sign that we messed it up. And after takes, bishop c5, black is going to regain the piece and actually be ahead in the endgame. Materialism is a mortal sin. Bishop e3, instead threatening to play rook c1. And what's best about this is that it more or less forces black to play a6, because any other move is just met by rook c1 and we're dead. However, after a6, now we have got some sexy. Now we do have some sexy. So show me the sexy. Hey Schindler, or E Schindler rather. Hey, how are you going, man? Exactly, so a6 basically facilitated our escape route via b6. So now rook takes d5 is golden. The a pawn can't take, the queen can't take, the queen can't take here because of double check wins the queen, ed is forced, and the exact same line now allows us to win the game. A tiny nuance, and yet it has got a ginormous impact on the outcome. And of course, bishop c5 loses to rook c1. The game continued with knight c7, king d7. Oh, actually, sorry, they played it even better. My bad. I almost ruined it. They didn't even bother taking the queen. They took the rook, because now this comes out with the niftiest of tricks. Oh, I botched the ending. What a potato I am. Alright, let's move on to the last game of... Oh no, I don't like it. We already looked at these a lot. I want to find another d5 one. Give me a sec. Okay, this is gonna be a wild one. This is going to be a wild one. I don't know how sound this is, but this is so typical of Pavasovic's playstyle and a really, really entertaining massacre style chess. So let's have a look-see. So, well, both d5 and knight f5 are equally good. Objectively speaking, both of them should equalize without too many dramas, but you need to know theory a lot. Right, so where did we put the bishop, folks? To c4. Once again, bishop d3 is just as fine. Bishop c4 played. Bishop c6 played to stop the d5 break. Castles played. Knight d7 played. And here Pavasovic played something that never fails to impress me. Like, this guy is so vicious and aggressive and brutal and violent and... yeah. Just incredibly lovely chess. FQ, because bishop e3 wasn't preparing the same motive. Bishop e3 was preparing rook ac1. That was a completely different motive. And a6 has changed the same motive from bad to good. Yes, it is d5. No, yeah, bad to good for a white. d5. A really, really awesome idea, trying to open up the e-file while the king is stuck in the middle. What's particularly crazy about this is the follow-up, because after the game followed with ED, and when I looked at it, I'm like, but what if I just trade with pieces? And it turns out that the more I trade, the worse it gets. So after knight d5, queen d5, we actually trade the queen. And after ED, rook e1, good luck Chuck to play good moves for white. Down a pawn in an endgame, and white is clearly better. The point is that you have got all kinds of dirty discovered checks currently threatened. Bishop g5 is almost mate next. So bishop e7 is more or less forced. And now white has got a super obnoxious move. Now, the problem with queenside castles, Jazz, is that it's really bad. On account of knight g5, and you just lose the game. Yeah. But what does bishop e7 lose to is a lot harder to see initially, or rather to believe in the move. Yeah, that's it, Viral. That's it. This is the one that needed to be evaluated, seen and evaluated correctly. Because most people would stop here going like, oh yeah, we are worse without a pawn. And nothing is further from the truth. White is actually doing spectacularly well here. Now bishop g5 is bad on account of f6. Bishop d2. Probably knight c5, knight e6 is going to clog up the file. No, they are all bad. Rook d1 is doable, but if push comes to shove, black can just castle out of it, and after rook d5, knight f6, it's equal. Yeah, rook c1. Rook c1 is the move, folks. Once again, we are trying to reinvent the wheel, because which piece is not in play? The rook. So what is the most natural move? To bring it to the open file to create a new set of threats. Sweetbull's bishop f4, unfortunately, as much as it's very logical, fails to knight c5. This is black's main defensive idea, that they want to put their knight on e6 and clog up the e-file, and we are cooked. You can't allow this. That's why rook c1 is so powerful, because it also cuts out this. Black is virtually forced to castle here, and after rook c7, this line is completely forcing. Rook c7, rook d8, rook b7, and white has regained the pawn. Another pawn is hanging. The rook is wreaking havoc on the 7th. White is killing it. So after d5, they took back with the pawn. What is our move here, folks? ABC always be cooking. I don't know what that means, but I agree. Always bring pieces. Chest. I don't know. Chest. No matter what the question is, chest is the answer. Mr. Landau has the answer. Rook e1. And the real deal, of course, this is not a genius. This is like, no, this is not brilliant. The idea is brilliant, because after bishop e7 comes a move that is very difficult to foresee. Because white had to see the move that is about to be played before they played d5. That's why I announce this game as a typical Pavasovich animalistic attack. And shout out to my greatest friend, the legendary Jazz. B4, baby. B to the 4. That's the move. Shout out to Courtney. Welcome in. Bishop B6 seems to be hanging, love. The answer is fries. Ben Feingold. Yeah, unfortunately, that answer also contains cholesterol. No offense to Ben, but yeah. I like his idea that the answer is fries, but yeah. There are some hidden or not so hidden elements in there that we don't necessarily want. Queen b4, knight d5. And here black had a chance to stay in the game by taking d5 once and then castle. Because it is your utmost priority with black to get the frick out of there. It doesn't matter if you lose b7, rather that than having a king stuck in the middle. This is somewhat manageable at least. This is playable, yeah? Instead, they play this absolute dog poo move, queen b5. It looks horrid, so it is horrid. But there's only one good response against it. And I'm going to offer the loudest shout out, in theory, because I don't want to yell, to the person who finds the next move. Well, queen b5 makes sense, right? Because it hits the bishop with a tempo. And against any move that moves the bishop with castle, and we are golden. And unlike immediate castle, so after bishop b3, for example, white is not going to have rook b1 with a tempo. So black wanted the best of both worlds. They wanted to ensure they could castle, but they also wanted to keep the b7 pawn, which is greed. And when you are greedy, you are playing poorly. So if your idea is bishop g5, you need to give me lines. If your idea is bishop f7, you need to give me lines. If your idea is none of the above, you still need to give me lines. Well, bishop takes, knight g5, king g8. I don't see why knight d6 is even an accomplishment, right? Bishop g5, knight d5. d5 seems to me to be completely... Oh, maybe not, actually. I thought I had bishop e7, knight e7, queen d6, but then maybe castles. So I'm actually not so sure. Yeah. So bishop g5 was played. Now the first question is, what is the idea of queen d5? Chess Optics, that's totally fine, but you can't earn credits, unfortunately, and win chess games. Right, so the key tactic is rook takes e7. And the king can't retake because that would cost the queen. And consequently, this is over. The harder one is knight takes, when the only good move is knight d4. Shout out to Viral. Queen a5, knight f5. And now if they castle, then you can just take this. And you are still going to win. Oh, actually no, there's bishop b4 here. So it's better to just take check and take the piece. So that's exactly what happened. They played bishop g5. They castled. What do we do now? White to move, win a piece by force. And that's going to bring us to the end, I believe, guys. White to move, win a piece, win the game. Oh, Kylie, thank you, thank you, thank you. Much appreciated, brother. Thank you so much. Cheers, mate.
Nothing to see.
Thank you very, very much indeed. So what's the win? What is the win? That's protected, my friend. No, when you take e7, it's gonna be knight takes, my friend, not queen takes. Thank you all, even though I know you are young. Everyone does know that you're very young, in fact. Who are you trying to fool? No one? I'm surprised. I am surprised. I will reveal the big deal then. So the idea is that after rook e7, knight d5, we have knight d4. And the queen cannot retain the guard on the knight, since both of these squares have been denied from Her Highness the Queen. There's one final little detail. After queen a5, rook d7, knight b6 is a double attack on the rook and the bishop. but we can resolve this issue by playing what? Bishop e7 seems to hang the rook, my friend. That not it. Rook takes b7 seems to hang the bishop. So I'm glad that we're going through the motions. So I said both hanging. How can we defend both? And we blundered both. Indeed, the correct answer is bishop d2, scoring a fat tempo on the queen. And now if the queen goes to here or here, you can attack it with the knight, thus removing the hanging piece. Never read pieces, except when you are winning a piece and the game. And White went on to win after a few more moves from here. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm gonna call it a day here. I am gonna call it a day here. And I'm going to raid something very unique. Thanks, Courtney, for the love. Appreciate that. I gotta go. I gotta eat. I gotta write chess courses. I need to plan lessons. Life is on to me. I'll see you guys on Tuesday. Take care. Bye.